Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is Sharon from Paper Crafts from the Heart. Today we are going to be using making a one-page stash bashing layout. I have this older paper collection called Old Town Tavern. It's from the Paper Loft. I have no idea how old it is, but it's been in my stash for years and I keep passing over it because it has no embellishments to go with it. So I decided I am gonna create my own embellishments and get this paper used up. I went searching for things on Pinterest to use with this and I found this layout. It's a very old layout from my mind's eye and I decided I was going to try to recreate it using the papers I have here. So I've already trimmed my papers. I'll give you the measurements on those as I'm attaching them. But the first thing I'm going to do is pull out some texture paste and stencil on some diamonds like this layout has. I'm going to go ahead and use the distressed texture paste in opaque and just randomly add some diamonds to this wood grain paper here, similar to what is on the layout I'm scrap lifting. So I'm just kind of randomly, I already went ahead and matted the pictures of my son that I'm going to use onto both some navy blue cardstock and a piece of pattern paper just so I know where it's going to sit so that I can go ahead and put these diamonds where I need them to be. Just kind of randomly placing them. Here, this stencil is something I got in a album retreat workshop from Close to My Heart. I kind of think it's like an exclusive stencil they made because it's kind of got like 3 or 4 different stencils in one. But if you have anything with like a diamond type of pattern on it, or you could even cut something using your Cricut or your Silhouette to create a diamond stencil. I've done it many times when I didn't have the right stencil. I've used cardstock and used it just like one time, or you can use like acetate sheets or overhead transparency. I use overhead transparency a lot because I can find it at my local thrift store. Sometimes really cheap. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up the stenciling off camera. You guys have the idea of how I'm doing it, and then I will be back to finish the layout. Okay, I've gone ahead and stenciled the diamonds on here, and the texture paste is pretty much dry. I've matted my photos. I'm using 2 3x4s onto a piece of this navy blue cardstock that is about 4.5, probably by, it's 4 1/4 by 6 3/4. And then the pattern paper piece I have it on is 8 by 6, but I did not adhere the photo all the way to the bottom because I'm going to slip some paper underneath. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and attach it to the page. I went ahead and distressed all the edges using the Walmart Stain Distress ink. So we're going to go ahead and attach this first so then we can build the layers that go underneath it. I think this stencil really adds a lot to this page. I was debating whether or not I was going to go ahead and stencil, and I think it's going to make a big difference on this layout. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my Versamat and line everything up. And the first piece I have here is this plaid piece, and it is 1 3/4 inches wide and about 9 1/4 inches long, and it's going to get tucked up underneath the photo. And I did dovetail the ends of it. I'm going to go ahead tuck that up under there. And then the next one is the star piece, and this one is 1 1/4 by 9. It's also distressed and dovetailed. And it's going to overlap the first dovetail piece I just attached to my page. Slip it under there, and it's going to slightly overlap there. Then I'll go ahead and adhere my photo back down. Now that we have everything tucked under there. Okay, and then I'm going to start with my cluster up here. And I'm going to start with the plaid piece. This is also 1.5 inches wide and about 3.5 inches long, and I dovetailed it. And I'm kind of just eyeballing it. I think I'm going to go about 1 inch down from the top. I'm going to add the star piece, which is 1 inch and 3 inches tall, wide, long, however. Overlap that, and then I think I'm going to come in with a piece of this navy blue, kind of overlap it on here like that. It's about 1/2 inch by 3, but I think I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Probably going to take about 1/2 inch off. No, I'm not. I like it longer than the star one. So we're going to overlap it on the star pattern a little bit, and then we have another little cluster we're going to build on the bottom. The stripe 1.5 by 1 3/4 is going to be our first piece. Attach it about 1/2 inch over. And then I'm going to come in, I think I'm going to use the red side. On this one and just trim it. Wasn't sure how long I needed to be, so let me mark this real quick and trim it. Grab a pencil and we'll go ahead and mark it. With scissors. So I trimmed it down to about 1.5. I'm going to go ahead and overlap it on this plaid one. Just like that. And I was debating whether or not to add some blue to this side, but I think I'm going to leave the blue off. And then we're going to come in with some embellishments. I did not have any embellishments to go along with this paper pack, so I used some of my die cuts and cut out some hexagons and different patterns, and we're going to kind of try to duplicate what they used on the original layout. And then I cut a circle, and I had a stamp, and it says practically perfect in every way, which I thought was cute, as he's, you know, destroying my Tupperware cabinet. So I'm going to go ahead and layer that up. I think I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of it just to give it a little dimension. It's kind of flat because it's just made out of cardstock and paper, so just to add a little bit of dimension to this layout, I think most of the embellishments I'm going to go ahead and add some foam tape to the back of them. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out exactly where I want the rest of these embellishments and then get them in here down, and we'll be back to complete the layout. Okay, I went ahead and finished all the embellishments off camera. Right here, I went ahead and die cut a whole bunch of different size hexagons and added an arrow that I die cut and then a circle that I stamped and then a few more down here. And I could not find an alphabet that went with this. I didn't have anything that had like the grungy rustic look to it. So I took a chance and I went ahead and stamped it and then embossed it using white embossing powder. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So I think this layout is pretty much done except for some journaling. If you have any questions, please let me know, and thank you for watching.